What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be solo flawlessing Spire the Watcher in Season of the Defiance. The two main exotics I'm going to be using are Prometheus Lens and the Outbreak Perfected. The reason I'm using the Prometheus Lens because this season they added the fire sprites, additional fragments to the subclasses, and it's really good with the Prometheus Lens because Prometheus Lens ignites enemies on kill, so you're getting a lot of fire sprites generated, and you're getting a lot of restoration. And the ad clear with double solar surge is pretty good. You'll see. With this encounter, I like to run the scout rifle just for these guys up here. Running the scout rifle, honestly I forget the name of it because I don't really use scout rifles, but it has Vorpal weapon on it. The Cyclops fall under the vehicle category, that's why it procs the extra damage. It has pretty good range, and it takes out the turret dudes pretty quick. Honestly, the biggest thing is to just take your time, especially when you're trying to flawless anything. Really, it's just take your time. If you don't feel comfortable, just back up, regroup. I don't do anything. I don't activate anything until I kill these 4 Cyclops. And the exotic I'm obviously using is Starfire, which is pretty standard by now if you've watched any Warlock videos or been playing your Warlock. And it's just really good with the ability to heal yourself with the grenade kills now. So the sustain in the entire dungeon is just pretty good because I don't switch off a solar. But anyways, that's kind of how I clear this encounter. So for right now, I'll just kind of mute myself and kind of speed up the video so you guys can kind of see how I do the rest of it. Okay, at this point, I'm going to switch to Outbreak and the Raid Trace Rifle. And keep my LMG on. This part, I like to have my well up on this part just to kind of prevent any stupid deaths. I just kind of pop it, kind of force myself down. That. I get my super back pretty quick with my Ashes to Assets mod.
This wasn't just a pillory site, it was a joint research facility focused on extrasolar.
If you guys aren't sure how Starfire works, you get 2 fusion grenades, and as long as any grenade kill gets you your class ability back, and if you're running Empowering Rift, when you're hitting enemies inside your Empowering Rift, you're basically adding stacks and getting your grenade back a lot quicker. It goes on your helmet, if any of you guys don't know. I got a really good roll on this fusion rifle. Reconstruction, and I don't remember the name of the perk, but the one that'll you'll see it here shortly. After I get a solar kill. Right here, the Outbreak gets through the hobgoblins because it has piercing rounds. So it gets through their immunity as well as the hydras. That's why I like to run it here. Kind of a easy way to kind of just melt everything. Kind of take your time. I sit here in my Empowering Rift, knock these guys out. You know, you don't want to rush through this. Just make sure you're clearing all these enemies before you proceed. You don't have to worry about that guy's shield. Kind of speeds it up a little bit too. You're not waiting too long for their shields to rotate. A neat little trick if none of you guys knew that. It also gets through all the Cabal shields too. You don't have to hit the center.
Information stored here, but could it be linked to my visions? Why else would the witness be interested in these files?
Alright, for this part, I'm running the same exact loadout. You guys are going to get more Hydras in this encounter. And I'm sure you guys are already going to be seeing them on the screen because I'm going to be posting them, the exact fragments and the names and what they do. But there is also a fragment that will allow you to still create fire sprites on solar weapon kills. You still get them dropping if you're not using the Prometheus lens. And that's why I run this. That way I can kill these Hydras pretty quick. Yeah, there we go. Also, this season allows you to pick up the fire sprites as an armor charge, so you're constantly just keeping your weapon surge active, which is nice. Again, just gonna sit here, my empowering rift. This part right here, after you kill the first Hydra, keep in mind it spawns the supplicants. They will kill you if you're not careful. So remember, patience is key with this. I'm not some god tier player. Taking my time. Honestly, the most annoying part about this entire encounter is probably just memorizing the locations of these little nodes. But once you kind of get it down after you, because I've ran this a few times before I actually got my flawless. I died 3 times while recording, but it's the name of the game. Emblem is really worth it too. I really like it. Nice.
line remains in this terminal like an open door. It's using the tower's arrays to connect with installations across Sol. This must be in preparation to imprison the submines. Breaking their connection could end this threat.
Alright, for this, we're going to run Cataclysm with fourth time's a charm with my Prometheus lens and Brat. That's how you pronounce it, assault rifle, but I really like that one because it's going to help a lot with the eyes. I mainly use the Prometheus lens to get the eyes, but instead of reloading my Prometheus lens, I switch to that and get the rest of the eyes, and then use the Cataclysm and my well to kind of do the rest of the damage. But rotation on this part is basically the name of the game. You're probably gonna do this about 6 or 7 times, but best thing to do is kind of get one buff, keep the other guy up, because if you kill the other guy that has the buff, it's gonna spawn 2 more. It's just gonna get annoying. You're gonna constantly kill them. So just memorizing where these nodes are at and just getting them as fast as possible while keeping your buff is the best thing to do. So I kind of just use my Prometheus lens to clear stay underneath the bridges the best you can, because it's going to give you cover from the guys lasering you and the boss. So this is the rotation I run. I like it a lot. It gives me a lot of good cover. But you can kind of get to these nodes fast enough to keep the buff up. Prometheus lens just melts these guys underneath, man. Create you a bunch of fire sprites. You know, I try to thin these guys out a little bit. The thing is, if you don't kill them, it's not going to spawn more. It's the same as if you guys have ever run Vaulted Glass. You don't kill the last guy, the last one in the sky doesn't respond. They don't respawn. So I do like to throw Kobe's at them. That's what I like to call them. I throw my grenades as I'm going by, just to kind of get a little bit of cure going, just in case I'm low on health, or to kind of. Obviously, you're not seeing the impact now, but because I have my well already, but. That way I can kind of get my well up and get it ready so I don't have to slow down. I can kind of just keep the damage phases coming, because you will do this a lot. Yeah, so basically what I'm going to end up doing here, I was like, what am I doing? I think I'm trying to switch to Healing Rift. Because I actually died on this part a couple times recording. Because it kind of gets a little hairy when the boss starts shooting at you, and you're trying to kill these. I don't know why I keep forgetting the name of these enemies, man. The guys that have the buffs with the void shields. We can get a little hairy. I've died twice like that, so I believe I'm gonna end up switching to Healing Rift. Because as long as you're standing in your well, your Starfire still works. You don't need to be in just an Empowering Rift. So I think I end up switching after I pop my well. Yeah. It's gonna give me a little bit of security there. So you're gonna see, gonna be Prometheus lens on the eyes. It's pretty effective. And then my auto rifle to kind of just finish the job. 2 grenades. Make sure you aim for the eye though. I had some times where if you don't really get the eye, the grenade will fly past them. That happened to me a couple times. Yeah, you should honestly be able to hit most of your shots here. And then I just kind of dump underneath. I don't risk it for a little bit extra damage. It's not worth it. You're going to get knocked back. You're going to die. You know, obviously it doesn't do a lot of damage on the normal versus the master, but to me it's just not worth the risk for an extra couple shots. So I just drop down, regroup, reload my weapons. So since that's the second one I killed, there's going to be 2 more of those guys that spawn. Obviously, yeah, I didn't describe it, or I didn't explain it last time, but start all 4 of them in the middle. It's just easier, so you don't have to go up to the middle to start it every single time. Grenade to kill those guys, pretty easy. Honestly, just keep yourself from getting on top, because stupid things can happen, man. It's Destiny. spend a little time killing the guys in the air because the flinch can be pretty nasty. It just and you end up missing a couple of your fusion rifle shots, sorry. And when you're running 4 times the charm, because that's kind of what I'm really depending on, is that perk alone to damn, I missed my Kobe. That perk alone to kind of basically do most of the damage, because I'm getting basically a whole extra 4 shots during the damage phase, and that's a lot because that's 200,000 damage. It adds up, so the flinch can get pretty nasty. So you'll see me kind of clear those guys a little bit just to kind of make sure I'm guaranteeing my shots. Ooh, it got a little hairy there. That's what I'm talking about, though, man. Those guys up top, since I'm not really running anything void, you can't really stun them very easily. And the mechanics of them teleport, man, just damn near just stopped my recording right there and started a 4th run. But that's the beauty of the well. Yeah, that's the main reason why I switched to Hailing Rift. But I think after this part, because I'm kind of a little flustered right now, so after this part, I kind of cleaned it up a little bit. Get my rotation back. Yeah, this is when I was like, dude, do I have Void Resistance on? Yeah, make sure you guys are running your Void Resistance. I was like, because these guys are doing all Void damage. I think after I get the triple Void, I'm good. For Prometheus lens because it's a big thing for the eyeballs. Oh, look at that. See those, I'm telling you, man, those goblins. They knew I was gonna throw a grenade, I'm telling you. Be careful of that. Those fusing grenades will kill you if they teleport on you. Other than that, I'm gonna speed up the video here. You guys kind of see the rotation. I liked. This is why I did run the Healing Rift there though. When they're both up, because I was able to kind of just sit underneath there, not really risk dying. So for this part, I bring back the Outbreak. I think I used the Outbreak, yeah, through the rest of the dungeon. I don't actually switch back to Prometheus. This part, kind of just take your time, because, man, there ain't nothing worse than doing all that and just dying to a fan. Just take your time through it. You guys kind of see, I mean, it's not rocket science, but you kind of see the practice I use. I just kind of take my time and immediately just drop down the moment one of the blades spins by.
Guardian, what we've seen here proves my visions have merit. We must secure the complex to convince Ikora. Trust is a frail thing. As much as our mission, if this can restore her faith in me, I need this. X-Mind directs power to the reactor. Kill it, and the complex should stabilize.
Alright, so here I'm gonna keep the Outbreak, Forbearance, and my Rocket Red Herring with upgraded field prep and lasting impression. I don't have a really good rocket launcher that has auto load holster on it. If you do, use that. But I make do with what I got now, so I switched to one Void. recommendation is just to switch double whatever you're doing, mainly doing damage with. I should have ran double void, and then also on your class item, run the mod that basically gives you more time on your armor charges. And I'll post it up on the screen, but I think it's time dilation. Run that one because there's a lot of time that you're waiting for the boss to spawn or the damage phase. So allowing yourself to have more time and get your damage buff as long as you can, that's going to be what you're going to want to do. I didn't end up switching that stuff over for me, so I really honestly did this entire thing without really any weapon surge. So I'm just kind of giving you guys that heads up, just in case. But I'll kind of give you guys a little tip as I do get this started. Forbearance is basically 90% of what I'm going to use when I'm running around, other than when I'm hitting the nodes. So I kind of just sit back, throw my grenade, get these hydras. This is just when it starts, because when you're cycling through the damage phases, you don't have to sit back here. I don't like to sit back here because the room in the back you can walk into. Then I mean, you kind of just float up, kind of get these hydras, or get the guys that are trying to explode on you. You can kill those guys with your forbearance while you're floating above them. But I like to come back here in the room. Kind of sit back, get your healing rift down, use your outbreak. The boss can be a little bit of a prick sometimes, so you kind of just ignore him, go to the other side. And you just kind of melt the hydras with your outbreak. Oh, supplements, yeah. So kind of just clear those out. So there's a spawn pattern with them, because, you know, they're not random. There's a spawn pattern. So I clear them out on that side. They're always going, it's a time thing. So if you clear them out fast enough, you're not going to have to deal with them, for one. And for two, they're always going to be guaranteed on two sides. So you'll see what I'm talking about here. So kill the Hydra. And the boss is going to be following you. He's almost going to be kind of mirroring you when you're in this room. So he's kind of on the other side of this wall, kind of in the center part. So I throw a grenade to that guy, run. So now he's kind of behind you, right? So you pick this up. Kind of follows you a little bit, and they're going to be in the middle and on the other side of the room, right? So the boss was following me. Now I got that guy dead. So I'm able to sit in this little crevice right here without really worrying about the supplements too much. You know what I'm saying? So what you do is you get the buff. The boss kind of follows you, so he's not able to actually shoot at you the entire time, because you're using the wall as coverage. As well as if you kill those supplements fast enough with your forbearance, you have time to sit in that crevice and take your time, shoot the nodes. You don't have to rush anything. You don't have to float in the air. You don't have to do any of that. Just take your time, sit in that crevice. You have vision of all 5 nodes. Get them done. Because honestly, the last thing you want to do is risk your flawless to, you know, a couple random supplements that just want to randomly teleport on you and kill you. So kind of just take your time. That is the riskiest part of this entire encounter, is that first part. After that, it's kind of just, you're running around. You're running into here when the boss isn't in here to kill the ads. Honestly, memorizing where these node placements are at. Like, have a couple of dry runs, you know? If you're not 100% comfortable with this, like, what I did was I came into this boss this final boss, and you know, if your buddy has a checkpoint, or if you kind of just get to this, even if you die, just practice. Because honestly, the memorizing the nodes in here is so crucial. Because the faster you can get in there, get those nodes inside this room, because this room can get a little chaotic with, you know, the enemies constantly spawning and the boss lighting you up, because he will walk up there where you're at, that little back part, he will walk up there as you're seeing right now. And it can kind of get a little frustrating. But I had noticed that that angle, walking all the way around shooting that, is the best angle for that side. But having a couple, like I said, having a couple of dry runs, kind of memorizing where those are at, or even just kind of watching this video as I go through it, really up to you. But that's gonna help you in the long run. This one right here is kind of sketchy. You don't have to jump all the way over like that, like I do. You can kind of go on the walkway right there. But yeah, make sure you at least have I would say about 15 seconds worth of attrition before you start the damage phase, because you will run out. And then just get ready with the Outbreak and just fire away. And then you're gonna kind of see how I do damage. Honestly, I think field prep's underrated. The reload speed's pretty quick, so I feel like field prep's a really good secondary if you don't have an auto load holster rocket. I kind of just pop my well, crouch, and just... Dang, oh yeah, I forgot. That thing went through his freaking legs. I was so upset when I was doing this. Because if you don't... And oh yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. The Psycho Hack with this. Granted, you're in your well, but he still does a shit ton of damage. The Psycho Hack, when you're doing damage with a rocket launcher, kind of reduces the damage he's doing. And... if you're looking to do this encounter without, well, it's actually a really good rocket to use, because it reduces the damage he's doing to you as he's walking towards you. But yeah, once you kind of do damage, you kind of just run into this room, sit back, kill the Hydras. Because now the doors are open all the time. Kill the Hydras, rinse, repeat. And kill that guy. There's no enemies here. Sometimes they spawn as you pick up the buff. And there they are. Yep, they spawned here. So I put a grenade there and then kind of just grenade launcher. But able to kind of just if you clear enough of them, you're fine. Woo-hoo! Got a little scary. I forgot about that. I got lucky there, honestly. For some reason, chain reaction doesn't proc on the supplements. Not really sure why. I don't know if it's intended or if it's a bug, but you still get that soul drinker. You guys got this. Good luck. There she is. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace out.